in Jakarta, 5 minutes or 6 minutes past 2 o'clock, and Malaysia, I think, 6 minutes past 3 o'clock. Therefore, we will to start right now. Apologize because this event today is a few late because I am journey from Jakarta to Surabaya right now in the hotel in the Malang, not only in Surabaya. Move to Malang, the another city in East Java. Okay, Dr. Hasrina and Dr. Krishna, you know that the ILC event there is 5 itinerary. The first welcoming speech from me is Chairman ASEAN Lecture Communities, and the second the short video from ILC official video. Assistant Professor Indra Gumilang will be to share the video. And the third, the first speaker will be to sharing around 30 to 35 minutes. If I look the name, Puan Haslina with the alphabet of H early, then Mr. Krishna with the alphabet of K. but but if the senior lecturer, Dr. Krishna Morbil senior, but I think as academician, we will look the alphabet, Pak Krishna. Macam mana?
Sure. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, right.
No, I think better we go for the seniority rather than alphabet.
Okay. if the early alphabet specific request, therefore Dr. Krishna will be to say first because there is the special request from the Dr. Hasrina Hassan. It's good idea. We look the wisdom woman.
Okay.
Thank you.
Without woman, man cannot cannot measure.
Yeah. Okay, and the fourth is question answer. Question answer will be to come after all the speakers sharing, and then the last and closing remark. Okay, right now let's start this event with the prayer first. Mari kita mulai dengan berdoa lebih dahulu. Disilakan. Bismillah. Lagi kita mau mendengarkan sharing session from Dr. Krishna Kamil MBA. Time is sir, around 30 to 35 minutes, please.
Okay.
Okay, your screen right now to be the process. Okay, very clear.
Yeah. This is the front cover about Indonesia stay, and then this is standard setting, accounting and tax issues, but I will focus on standard setting accounting, most focus on Indonesia, focus on Indonesia. Okay. The accounting standard right now is high quality standard. We demand the globalization of accounting standard to be international accounting standard. Yeah, there is some element. One single set of high quality accounting standard established by a single standard body. That is IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard. Two, consistency in application, interpretation, common disclosure, common high quality auditing standard and practice, common approach to regulatory review and enforcement, education and training of market participants, common delivery system, common approach to corporate governance and legal framework. International standard that currently exists, IFRS, International Finance Reporting Standard, standard setter under IFAC. IPSAS, for public accounting, SFAS, Statement of Financial Accounting Standard, under FASB. The world toward global accounting standard, there is a convergence to one set global accounting standard. Global accounting standard needed for modern economy rely on cross-border transaction and the free flow of international. More than a third of all financial transactions occur across border, and that number grow. Investors seek diversification and investment opportunities across the world. In the past, such cross-border activities were complicated by different countries because they have their own set of national accounting standard. So applying national accounting standard means amount reported in financial statement, based calculated different basis. So right now, the world need a global accounting standard. Benefit for accounting standard is transparency, transparency, accountability, efficiency. IFRS Foundation is not for-profit public interest organization established to develop understandable, enforceable, and globally accepted accounting and sustainable disclosure. Our standard developed by two standard international IASB, and ESISSB. International Accounting Standard Board setting standard accounting for small medium enterprise. Sustainable board produce sustainable disclosure standard in progress, sustainable related disclosure, and disclosure for climate related. Financial reporting challenge in political environment, business entities, final community. Significant financial reporting issues, non-financial measurement, forward-looking information, soft asset, and timeliness. There is also ethic. Ethic in the environment of financial accounting. Companies that concentrate on maximizing the bottom line, facing the challenge of competition, stressing short-term result, place accountant in an environment of conflict and pressure. IFRS do not always provide answer. Technical competence is not enough when encountering ethical decision. International convergence, example, China, Japan now permit IFRS, Malaysia have amended accounting for agricultural assets. So Malaysia also use global accounting standard. In Indonesia, the setting accounting standard is on Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia or Institute of Indonesia Chartered Accountant. IAI is responsible for the regulation of professional accounting, including setting accounting in the private sector, administering the Chartered Accountant is an exam, providing professional education, establishing a code of ethics, adopting professional standard and disciplinary system. And IAI membership comprise accountants from all countries in Indonesia, including public accountant, management accountant, tax accountant, academician, public sector. Prior to 2014, membership in the IAI was voluntary by Minister Decree number 25 2014, state the register accountant requirement for accountant to become a member of professional organization. This requirement has strengthened the standing of IAI. Yeah. The others profession organization is Institut Akuntan Manajemen Indonesia, Indonesian Institute Accountant Management, and Institut Akuntan Publik Indonesia, Indonesian Institute of Certified Public Accountant. IAP regulate public accountant and is legally empowered to set auditing and ethical standard in public accountant profession. IAP is also responsible for administering the CPA exam and for setting ethical requirement for public accountant. Membership mandatory for all public accountant. IAP was once part of IAI, first as Department of Public Accountant between 2007 and 2012. In 2012, IAI eliminated associated membership. Consequences, the IAP membership with the IAI ended, and IAP became an independent organization. In addition, IAP also a member of IFAC. Yeah. And also member of Asian Federation of Accountants. Adoption of international accounting standard in Indonesia, we use the term SAK, Standar Akuntansi Keuangan. So this is the adoption of international accounting standard. IFRS also adopted accounting for small medium enterprise, SMEs. This is the Indonesian accounting standard. The first one is Pernyataan Standar Akuntansi Keuangan. We acronym PSAK based on IFRS. The second one is Standar Akuntansi Keuangan Entitas Tanpa Akuntas Publik, and will be changed to modified to SAK Entitas Privat. This is based on SME IFRS standard. The third one is Standar Akuntansi Entitas Mikro Kecil Menengah. Yeah. This is for accounting standard for entity micro small. Yeah, micro small. This accounting standard is less complex than SAK entitas privat. Yeah. And then there is another syariah, yeah, standar akuntansi syariah. And then there is also ISAK certified. This is for organization, non-profit organization. Yeah, use ISAK 35 certified. Yeah. Implication di taxation, ya. Standar akuntansi mengatur tentang pelaporan keuangan, bukan untuk pelaporan pajak. Based on Indonesian regulation regarding taxation, on the Article 28, pembukuan harus diselenggarakan dengan sistem yang lazim dipakai di Indonesia, misalnya berstandar akuntansi keuangan dan peraturan-peraturan menentukan lain. Implikasinya, jika tidak ada peraturan khusus dalam regulasi perpajakan, maka akan mengikuti standar akuntansi. Pengaturan perubahan dalam perpajakan tidak mengenal di perpajakan in Indonesia, tidak mengenal konsep penyajian kembali laporan keuangan restatement, ya. Jadi in Indonesia, based on tax regulation, we do not recognize the concept of restatement. Karena perubahan kebijakan akuntansi kadang-kadang membuat ada restatement, ya, restatement ke periode yang lalu, ya, yang berimplikasi pada overpayment or underpayment. Kemudian di dalam pajak dikenal istilah pembetulan, ya, pembetulan SPT. Ini dimungkinkan karena adanya kekeliruan dalam penerapan ketentuan baik dalam akuntansi maupun dalam perpajakan. Nah, peraturan perpajakan umumnya berlaku setelah ditetapkan. Jadi regulation on tax itu prospektif, not retrospektif, ya, prospektif. Penerapan standar secara retroaktif akan sulit diterima, ya. Jadi kalau retrospektif itu tidak bisa diterima di perpajakan. Nah, kalau perpajakan secara umum saya cuma mau bahas satu aja, yaitu mengenai tax, ya, ini aja, tax evasion. Tax evasion sama tax avoidance, ya. Jadi kalau tax evasion itu ilegal, kalau tax avoidance itu legal, tapi tidak bermoral, ya. Jadi cuma sampai di situ aja, ya, mengenai taxation. That's it, Pak Reza.
Okay, very interesting in polite and polite accountant for the report taxation. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Krishna. It's very interesting for me because I am based of business management. Therefore, interesting to look use sharing about the standard accounting Indonesia and in the world. Okay, right now before the second speaker sharing, Dr. Haslina, is your now.
Okay, terima kasih Prof dan Dr. Krishna. Okay, actually lagu tu pun lagu zaman saya tu.
Oh iya.
Zaman
Tahu
saya
lagu
muda-muda.
tu? Pernah
Tahu
dengar,
tahu. Pernah
Alright.
dengar lah. Pernah dengar, tahulah
So,
lagu tu.
memang Bandung ini banyak buat band-band yang terkenal. Memang mereka famous Bandung. Ini dari Bandung.
Oh, okay.
Sama dengan Noah yang sebelumnya adalah Peter Pan, ada Gigi juga dan lain-lain. Sila.
Okay, sekejap ya, sebab saya tak biasa sebenarnya pakai okay, I think this one lah.
No problem.
Pakai Zoom. Tak berapa biasa pakai Zoom.
Relax. Relax. Okay, very clear. But the seven, how to product yourself? Seven dah.
How to protect. Okay, yeah, correct.
Good.
Yang betul. Okay, so this one,
Taxation issues, like challenges.
Alright, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all the participants in this lecture share series. Okay, first of all, thank you, Prof. Sharul, for inviting me. And also Dr. Krishna, terima kasih jemput saya, bagi saya peluang nak share something untuk kita kat sini. It's actually kalau besar sangat pun, it's just sharing simple things. Sometimes benda ni actually ada je dekat mana-mana kalau kita baca, tapi biasalah kita nak baca tu kadang-kadang agak susah. I mean kita susah nak baca, tapi kita lebih suka mendengar kan, biar orang cerita dengan kita. So it doesn't mean that I'm expert in this area, tak. Cuma I nak share sahaja apa yang saya baca. Okay, saya pun ambil daripada sources yang ada. So I just kumpulkan and then I put it in one topic so that it can easier be understand by us lah. Kita nak tengok current issue. Prof bagi saya topik current issue in taxation. So bila saya tengok current issue, it's more on the challenges lah in 2022 sebab kita daripada pandemik, daripada before pandemic, masuk pandemik, keluar balik semula pandemik kan. So in that sense kita punya budaya, kita punya culture, kita punya norm semua berubah. Dia macam terkejut-terkejut kan. Benda tu semua terkejut-terkejut. So that's why dalam apa jua yang kita ceburi, tak kisahlah dalam education ke, dalam business ke, dalam kita normal life pun kita face challenges actually. Bila kita come out daripada pandemic ni, kita nak go back to our normal life tu agak susah sebab during these 2 years pandemic tu give a big impact to us actually. Dia macam supply chain lah, dia bukan saja kat kita tapi supply chain. Jadi dari situ I get the idea, so why not I just share what are the challenges faced by the taxpayer, by the tax expert in this 2022. Okay, so kat sini kita tengok alright, for the introduction, the tax landscape is changing all the time and there are new targeted taxes. Maksudnya sekarang ni bila kita keluar balik semula daripada pandemik, kita kena decide what should be our tax punya target. Sebab during the pandemic kita punya tax target berubah. Government ubah kita punya tax target from before the pandemic, where we are in the pandemic, government do some changes on the tax. I mean more relief, dia lebih lenient, and then now kita boleh kata kita dah nak keluar balik semula daripada pandemic. So what should be done by the government? Is it government ni nak stay ataupun tax authority ni dia nak stay dalam target tax masa pandemik, ataupun kita nak bila kita keluar dari pandemik, do we need to change? Then the changes to what kind of changes that we want to do? I mean the tax authority need to make a decision on that kan. Sama ada kita nak change tu, kita nak go back to the old one which is the before the pandemic, or else kita nak benda baru kan. These are the things yang kita sendiri pun tak tahu. Nobody knows actually. All over the world face the same problems actually. So kita sekarang ni dah dalam 2022. Okay, so the pandemic and global tax reform to political changes. Also kalau Prof tengok dekat Malaysia sendiri pun kita punya politik pun berubah. So bila politik berubah, bila pandemik berlaku, macam-macam. As I said, pandemic to give an impact to all angles, daripada setiap sudut. Dia bukan sahaja daripada satu sudut tapi macam-macam sudut kan. So itulah kita kata global tax reform and also the regulatory and technology, and at the same time pandemic come in, also IT pun sama juga. Okay, technological change, IR 4.0 and now goes to IR 5.0. So dia macam benda tu it's come together. Okay, the impact of pandemic plus the impact of technology. So dia macam dia merubah kita punya life. So that's why these two factors is the most important factors that lead to the changes of the tax. So kat sini saya highlight pandemic tu because of the pandemic itself, and also for the because of the regulatory and also the technology change, we will continue to put pressure on tax function. So as a tax authority, dia kena cater this kind of changes dalam kita punya new world ni. Okay, pandemic punya impact, IT punya impact. So that's why kalau kat Malaysia kita panggil IRB, Inland Revenue Board, ataupun kita panggil Tax Authority, they get this pressure. So they need to decide macam mana dia nak cater all these changes to be fair, to the government, because tax is the main revenue to the government, and also to be fair to the taxpayer community, to business, to individu. They have to be fair for both parties, taxpayer and also the government. Itu yang menjadi pressure kepada tax authority nowadays, so that they have to face the challenge, okay, and then will need to be agile in their responses. So kita sebagai taxpayer ni, tak kisahlah we as a business ke, kita business owner ke, kita as a individual taxpayer ke, because of these changes and also the challenges faced by the tax authority in order to decide which dia punya targeted tax to the new targeted tax, kita ni as a taxpayer we need to be agile in their responses. Kita kena cepat. Kita kena cepat, apa yang berlaku, apa changes yang berlaku, kita kena alert. Kita tak boleh macam buat tak tahu je sebab tak sama dah. Tax leader to be tested. This is where the tax leader, I mean the tax expert, the advisor, the tax agent, this is where they've been tested. Dekat sini kita nak tengok how fast, how alert, how all the tax leaders ni dia memainkan peranan dia in order to minimize the impact of the changes. And then need to be one step ahead and respond quickly. Means that they have to have their own forecast. Dia kena nampak apa yang kemungkinan akan berlaku. What are the changes that might be taken by the tax authority. Dekat situ kalau dia boleh one step ahead tadi, dia dah boleh agak, dia dah boleh estimate, so dia boleh respond quickly to the changes in order to minimize the tax yang dia kena bayar nanti. Okay, those believing 2020 was a roller coaster of stimulus, means that masa pandemic tu pada tahun 2020 ni dia macam roller coaster kita stimulus ni, maksudnya kita government banyak offer, I mean bagi package untuk bantu tak kisahlah individu ke business ke, okay, tax, trade and related issues are finding little relief in 2021. So dalam 2021 tu dia dah berkurangan lah, okay, semua stimulus package ni, and are preparing for more disruption for years to come. And then pada tahun 2022 ni apa pula yang akan berlaku? Itu yang kita nak kena tengok. Okay, so sekarang I just highlight the top 10 challenges in 2022. So because of that situation phenomena yang saya share tadi, so these are the top 8 challenges lah yang kita kena as a taxpayer kita kena alert. So the tax in uncertain times, emerging of COVID-19, personal wealth, tax and global mobility, corporate tax, managing cross border, and how to protect yourself, I mean the taxpayer. So we go to one by one lah on this part. In the uncertain times, kita tak tahu, uncertain, benda yang kita tak pasti. Okay, aware. So what should we do? We have to aware of the changes and the impact of new targeted tax and alert to areas that could be reformed. This is where the tax agent ataupun expert tadi dia kena aware, dia kena aware so that dia boleh react ataupun respond quickly as what he or she should do lah in order to minimize the tax, to manage to plan the tax. And predicting the direction of travel for corporate and individual taxation has probably never been more challenging. Maksudnya untuk direction tu dia tak challenge sangat. However, yang penting kat sini, having a framework of a plan can help you react quickly and mitigate the impact of changes. Means that we have to have a plan. Now we have to have a plan. We have to forecast what will I mean the changes yang akan tax authority will be take. So kita dah ada kita punya framework, kita dah ada kita punya plan, so that anything kalau ada changes tu kita boleh react quickly. This is I quote from the Andrew England lah, partner of Menzies LLP. And then this one, the tax changes for the business, what should they do? Okay, in touch with the advisor, because business they usually use the tax agent lah in order to prepare dia punya to submit dia punya tax form tu untuk dia punya tax return, so that dia kena sentiasa in touch with the advisor, so because they have to taking full advantage of the opportunity. Because in business kita ada relief, kita ada allowance, which means for example allowable expenses, non-allowable expenses, special deduction, double deduction, all these things they have to be alert. They have to be alert because in order to spend their money, I mean the expenditure dalam business tu dia kena tahu is it still the same? All the allowable expenses before is still as allowable expenses now? Sebab kita takut dulu dia allowed, but now dia tak allowed. Dulu dia non-allowable expenses, but now it become as allowable expenses. Dulu dia bukan double deduction, but now it's double deduction. That's why dalam business dia kena tahu, dia kena alert. So in order to be alert and updated with all these changes, dia kena keep in touch with the advisor, because advisor dia akan tahu semua ni. Okay, dia akan dapat first information from the tax authority, what's the new list of release, allowance, double deduction and so on, so that they can focus on this allowable, non-allowable, relief, double deduction masa dia spend their money lah. Okay, so dia dekat situ kita panggil tax planning. Masa kita plan kita punya expenses, kita masukkan sekali dengan tax planning so that we know, okay, we can spend more on the double deduction part. We have to minimize the non-allowable expenses. We can go for allowable expenses. This is how we call tax planning in business. That's why update with the new list of this opportunity or advantage is very important. And also for individual, okay, we have to pay for individual tax. Our focus for individual tax is protecting family wealth, means that we try to minimize the tax payment. Okay, so we have to have the strategic tax planning. So actually this one also sounds like the same as business, but we doesn't call it as allowable expenses, we call it as relief. And also relief ni dia boleh berubah-ubah. It depends on the latest update from the for the tax authority, because sometimes this year, yes, it is as a relief that expenses, but next year we didn't know. For example, expenses for the kindergarten. Now, yes, it is a relief, but we didn't know. Maybe next year there is no more relief on expenses for the kindergarten. So that we as an individual also we need to be alert with these changes so that we can plan our expenses. Okay, make sure we minimize the we go for the expenses that have a relief so that we can take advantage on that saving lah, we call it. Because tax actually is an issue for individual also, but because individual is not only individual tax, but also we're talking about real property gains tax, health tax, so that one is related to individual. Okay, and then the second one is the merging of COVID-19. Prof, how many minutes are left?
Boleh 5-6 minit lagi.
Okay, so I think I have to go further. I have to go faster. Okay, pandemic, as I said, I did explain before, because of the pandemic. So the government, rapid response for the government to support business during the pandemic between the stimulus package. And then this one is action during the pandemic, action after the pandemic. They have to prepare for the inevitable higher taxation, because why? Because they want to recoup all the stimulus package given during the pandemic. So there are the potency for the higher tax after the pandemic. And for the tax authority, they are slowly return to normal. I mean, the tax return to normal. Many of the measures have already expired or will do so. Meaning that all the incentive will expire already or will. And for the taxpayer, what we have to do? Fully access their tax position. So we have to understand what our own position. And the second one is personal wealth. Okay. So as I said, we have to have the important to plan for the uncertainty about the capital tax, for the capital gains, for the inherit tax, and also we have a potential wealth tax, which wealth tax commission. This one is a potential. So we have to be alert on this. And then the third one is that a global mobility. And nowadays, because we can work from home, so we are more people working from overseas, means that we can work for Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, because working from home. So each location have a unique set of tax rules and exemption. So important that employers optimize their tax position. Means that even though I am in Malaysia, I can work for the company at Indonesia, but the tax should be paid to the Indonesian government. So how? Okay, so we have to look into it, how we can manage, plan our tax. As an employers also, they have to look into the tax position for their employees which are working from overseas. Yeah. And corporate tax increase and cash management. As I said, after the pandemic, there are possibility that the tax will increase. Because why? Because the government want to recoup all the expenses for the stimulus package before this. So to optimize tax position and manage cash flow impact, they have to review the business structure, they have to reduce the number of associated companies, and they have to plan the timing expenditure. Means that they have to know where should they spend that expenditure, maximum the tax relief. So we have to always refer to updated a list of tax relief. So if loss, carrying forward any unused tax losses rather than claiming a repayment, because we expect that later on the tax will high, so better we carry forward to get a more benefit on it. And also we are talking nowadays, people talking about ESG. So in tax also we have green tax future. Green tax future. So this is actually what the government do is offering the more capital allowance on the here the enhanced capital allowance for energy saving or environmental beneficial technologies regime. Means that if you involve in any asset that can save the environment, you can get more capital allowance on it. The capital allowance, the calculation of capital allowance will be different. Sometimes you may get double deduction. So we go for green tax, net for climate change, tax policy roadmap, and managing cross-border payments. This is actually more on withholding tax and transfer pricing. Cross-border, because nowadays we are company more on globality, as a companies connect with global customer and suppliers. So we have to look at the tax consequence of this transaction, because we work globally nowadays. Okay, so the example of this cross-border is withholding tax. Okay, and then we have to look into the tax treaty position and also any relief available on this cross-border cross-border punya elements lah. Okay, service delivered in another country, it needs to be identified if a permanent, and also corporate tax for the local and also for the local payroll tax are due. Okay, and for the indirect tax, we have to look into the VAT or any local sales tax, custom duty, and other state of local tax. This one is for cross-border. And another part in the cross-border is transfer pricing. Okay, transfer pricing also the main issues in taxation actually. It's about another important area to taxation related to cross-border. So it will affect the groups, within groups companies punya transaction. Okay, also and also for the arm's length, I think that one is very quite complicated. And how to protect yourself? How to protect yourself? Business owner must consider what will happen to the business when they are retired or on their death. Okay, so shouldn't be left without a plan. We might have a higher tax liability. So here, what we have to do for the retirement. Okay, so we have to plan because we need to have a family investment. Okay, and we can transfer a chunk of wealth to our generation. So we can protect your wealth, tax efficient solution. So this is what we should do. Okay. And as a conclusion, what's next? What should we do? First of all, we have to aware of the tax changes and the impact. And then we have to have a trusted team of tax advisors so that they will advise us how to make a decision in terms of tax. And we need to have a framework of plan to react quickly and mitigate the impact of the changes. And we need to take in full advantage of the opportunities or the relief, allowances, double deduction, and so on. And next, this one not relevant. I forgot to delete. Sorry for that. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Sorry for
Very.
taking more time.
No. It's good. Time management. Very good. Okay. Interesting. I think it's two speaker today is the favorite lecture in Semiliri campus, right? Okay, Pak Trisna. Right now there is the question for you and Miss Aslina, and then Pandu will be to share direct, I think, because he of hand right now. Pak Trisna, there is the two question for you from Viana. I will to read the question, right?
Yes. Okay.
Very interesting about accounting standard profession accounting. Right now, relation ASEAN community, what happened regards regulation to what is to code of conduct for public accountant to work in Indonesia and Malaysia? Is there public um, is there the public accountant Indonesian to have his client in Malaysia and the Malaysia client in Indonesia too? This is about regulation. I don't know, Mr. Krishna will be to answer. And second, what you think about trend of accounting profession to the future? What the student must be to develop advantage skill for the successful as the profession accountant. It is for question for Mr. Krishna. And then from Nurul to Wan Haslina about government change target, take target. In Indonesia, governments take tax from SME 1% before, but right now less to become 0.5%. This this regulation is very good for the SMA in Indonesia. Therefore, many SMA to pay the taxation to government. What about regard the policy of government Malaysia regarding tax policy for SME? This is the one question. And the second, very interesting about tech authority. Government now to hunting tax from the e-commerce personal businessman by digital. What the government Malaysia policy to hunting the new businessman by as the digital person SMEs. Jadi dia mungkin nak tanya ni bagaimana boleh mendapat diambil teks daripada pelaku bisnis perorangan. Okay, Pandu, are you will to share your question direct? You
Yes.
can to what the question and to whom?
How tax amnesty can impact after pandemic in ASEAN? How
Okay.
impact
the
the tax amnesty after
amnesty.
pandemic?
Okay, this good
Thank you.
question. This question to the board of speaker about tax amnesty. What about in Indonesia and what about on Malaysia? Dr. Krishna and Dr. Haslina, you can to answer the third question. Okay, now Dr. Krishna first. I mean around 7 minutes to answer 3 questions, please.
The first question, accounting profession. Accounting profession is still bright in the next future because all companies, also family, need accounting.
Yeah.
Need accounting, need to publish a financial statement for calculation of the financial statement, needs accountant. That's accountants is produced by universities, college, such as UNIKL, STEI. There will graduation for the accountant. But in the next future, besides certificate from college or university, they need to add a certificate from organization profesi, such as CA, Chartered Accountant. In Malaysia, also there is Chartered Accountant. So in the next future, accounting still a bright career for student in accounting.
Yes.
Second question regarding for the audited. Based on each country's audit firm in each countries has regulation. Let's say in Indonesia, you must pass the CPA exam in Indonesia. Also in Malaysia, if we want to make audit services in Malaysia, the Malaysian Accounting Association asks for the CPA to be passed for the exam from the Malaysian CPA. So it is impossible to audit Malaysian firm in Malaysia unless we have registered our CPA in Malaysia. Vice versa, also a Malaysian firm cannot audit Indonesia company.
Oh, okay.
But if we have, go to membership of the accounting firm, there is several audit firm in the world. Let's say Ernst Young, PwC, Deloitte. They operate in Malaysia, also operate in Indonesia. Those companies can audit Malaysian companies, also can audit Indonesian companies. Why? Because those companies are collaboration with Malaysian firm. In Indonesia, they also collaboration with Indonesian firm. That is why these big companies, this big audit firm can audit Malaysian companies, also can audit Indonesian companies. That's my question.
The last question about amnesty from Pandu. What you comment?
Tax amnesty is established in Indonesia. There is two tax amnesty. One tax amnesty for the corporate. It be a corporate and individual. It is going in 2015.
Yes.
And in 2020 and 2021, there is tax amnesty second edition. This is for individual tax register in Indonesia.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
What is the benefit? The benefit only for Indonesia, only for individual in Indonesia, not in Malaysia, not in other countries. So the tax amnesty is for Indonesian citizen.
Yeah. Yes, only for citizen every countries, right?
Yeah, there is no benefit for the companies. It's also tax amnesty second edition is for individual tax register, not for company register. So in accounting standard, what we discussed today, there is no influence tax amnesty second edition, because tax amnesty second edition is for the individual tax register.
Yes,
That's
right.
my
It's
question. That's my
very
answer.
smart answer. And then Dr. Haslina, two questions for you. And if you want to comment about tax amnesty in Malaysia case, please. But this is the question from Pandu. Okay, please, Dr. Haslina. Mute right now. Unmute, please.
Sorry for that. Right, I go to the first question. Government changed tax target from 1.4 to 0.5% for SMEs. Okay, this is good. Maybe because of the pandemic. Okay, so the government, yes, during the pandemic, the government or tax authority, they are more lenient. They are more, I mean, they give a good things. I mean, they help. Okay, they help all the businesses in order to survive, okay, to sustain in the market, so that they will, this is, we call it as an incentive actually. Okay, incentive to the SME in order to sustain in the market. That's why they reduce the tax from 1 to 0.5. But we don't know. It's either this rate will continues for how long. That's the issues actually. That's the issues. Hopefully, if the government can maintain, alhamdulillah, kan? We also, it's good for the SMEs, for the business, but we don't know. Because as I said, tax is the main revenue for the government. And the government spent a lot during the pandemic for the stimulation package. So there are the possibilities that they need to record. I mean, they need to call back or to get back their money. I mean, yeah, to cover the expenses before this, so they have to. Sometimes they have to. Yeah, that's the issues lah. Okay, that's why. And the second one,
what the Malaysian policy about the tax for SME right now?
Yeah, they maintain the same rate. We not much on the incentive. They just give a postponement of the payment, because we have to pay bilateral, okay, but they do postpone the payment of the tax. That's the incentive. So and also, of course, most of the companies not doing well, so they didn't have, and they don't effort to pay tax because they don't have profit.
Okay, and then Malaysia to become, I mean to welcome to PRU 15. Therefore, must be to.
Yeah, sooner.
Yeah.
Sooner, so they won't touch about tax at all so far.
Yeah, betul.
Maybe after the PRU, maybe we can see changes might arise. We don't know. But before now, we are waiting for PRU, so everybody keeps silent on it.
Yeah. Because political issues must be to attention for the winner.
Yeah.
PRU.
Because tax is very, very, I mean, sensitive issues, because it gives a big impact to the business, give a big impact to the community and so on. That's why they not say much lah on the tax punya. I mean, whatever they want to change or whatever, they just keep it silent. They reserve for, and we don't know who will be the winner of the PRU next. We don't know. So they didn't make to any decision. So we just wait. Because the PRU is very soon.
Okay.
Right.
Take authority, government right now.
The e-commerce, okay, how they hunt. This is another issue actually, because for the individual e-commerce businessmen, usually they didn't register. Yeah, and yes, actually they have they need to pay for the tax, and for the tax authority, what they did for this e-commerce businessmen, actually they are not so much on it lah. Okay, they are not focusing too much on the e-commerce businesses, but they do have the system in order to keep track for those doing this e-commerce business. Actually, they do have that, but they're not much focusing on it because there is a lot of because e-commerce usually the income is not so much compared to other businesses. So they focus on because they don't have enough staff. That one I cannot I don't want to I cannot comment on it. But yes, we do have these types of hunting of e-commerce businessmen, but not so much lah.
I will comment about tech amnesty in Malaysia issues.
That's honesty.
Tech amnesty, pengampunan pajak.
That one I'm not. I
cannot.
cannot.
Okay. No. Indonesia only Indonesian is policy as tech amnesty. Jadi thank you.
Only Indonesia, not much in the world. Only 2 or 3 countries. The tax amnesty.
Ya. Dr. Krishna tadi yang nomor 1, kenapa Dr. Haslina senyum-senyum ketawa sebab di Malaysia sebentar lagi akan pemilu, Pak. PRU itu di sana disebut pilihan raya umum kalau kita pemilu. Jadi pemerintah tidak mau mengusik-ngusik urusan pajak dulu karena akan berpengaruh nanti kepada pemilih sebab pemerintah Malaysia dari UMNO BN dulu kayak Golkar kita sudah tidak berkuasa penuh, jadi mereka hendak menarik perhatian kembali. Karena itu isu-isu yang sensitif macam ini dia tidak mau mengambil resiko untuk membuat kebijakan apa-apa. Tapi tak tahulah setelah PRU 15 sebab ekonomi Malaysia pun terjejas oleh COVID dan lain.
Sangat.
Okey, baik Pak Krishna, closing remark Pak, kata penutup dalam 1, 2, 3 menit sebelum kita berpisah dalam 10 menit terakhir. Silakan.
Baik, terima kasih. Standar akuntansi, accounting standard setting in Indonesia based on IFRS, global accounting standard, and it's implemented in Indonesia with 3 standard accounting, standard accounting for PSAK, standard accounting for private entity, and the third one is standard accounting for small medium enterprise. Profession accounting in the next future still bright, still has expectation, no problem, because all companies need accountant.
Yeah. Therefore, the student accounting, don't worry, be happy, ya Pak ya.
Yes, don't worry about that.
Accounting is the heart of business.
Yeah, there is plenty of work as an accountant in every companies. Selepas pandemi COVID, there is more firm, more companies established, and also more accountant needed.
Iya.